I want to end on your Christianity and your faith. Before we do that, this is one thing that I don't know if it bothers me or not still, but when you put out, and I think it was 2 years ago, your top 10 greatest sports eye candy in television history.
That's in the last few months.
That's more recent?
Yeah.
Your eye candy list?
Yeah, that was recently. Someone did something that triggered that.
Oh, and then you took it to another level.
I did?
Right? Your top 10 eye candy?
Yeah, that's on brand for me.
I know. Stirring that pot. Listen, and I've heard the things that you've said about Joy Taylor. We're talking women in general. You mentioned women in your past life, et cetera, too. But that's poking the bear. When you're like, oh, we're going to talk about Joy Taylor and her chest, and that's the only reason why she was there, and she's shoving it in your face when you were on set with her back in the day.
That's what Joy Taylor was doing. I mean, that's a fact. That's what Joy Taylor would go on TV every day with her breast out. That wasn't an accident, and they're fake. They're not. I mean, I like fake breasts, and so I don't mean that in a derogatory fashion. I really don't. But she bought them. She shows them off. That was her marketing tool. Did
you tell her it made you uncomfortable?
No, I avoided Joy Taylor because I could see it a mile away. Like, this is trouble, and this is 2016, I think, and so it was really coming out of the ESPN experience from 2013 to 2015 is what made me say, I got to get right with God. And if I don't, I'm going to get destroyed. And so when I meet Joy Taylor in 2015 or 16, I'm in a mindset of like, I got to come up from out of my old ways because I'm going to destroy myself and destroy my career if I don't come up out of my old ways. And so when I saw Joy Taylor, I was like, that's trouble, stay away. And so I did. And they wanted to put her on the show with me. And I was like, no.
Why?
Because she didn't have anything to offer other than her looks. And I was going to do a show with more substance than that. And then based off of my old behavior, me sitting next to half black, half white girl with big cans and a pretty face, I was going to do something stupid. And at some point, it was just going to happen. And I was like, I don't want to do something stupid, so just stay away from Joy. I was going to say something overtly flirtatious. I was going to, I don't think I would have done it, but I'm capable of smacking her on the rear end at some point or whatever. I mean, that's the kind of idiot I used to be.
You would have fallen into temptation, and you didn't want that around.
No, I wanted to do a show, stay in a little safe space. And there's a way that men talk about sports that we talk about it differently with women. And I was like, I don't want to be like everybody else. Every show has a woman on the show. And I'm like, I can't have the discussions I want to have if there's a woman here.
Well, which means you can't have them when the camera's rolling in general if you're on network TV.
Yes, but I wanted to be the same person off camera that I was on camera. And that's what made, particularly once Marcellus got in there, because love Cowherd, but he was afraid. My conversation was too hot. He's tied to too many safe brands and things like that. But once Marcellus got there, it's like, no, there's a conversation I want to have that only guys can have. Just like there are conversations that women can only have. That is just a fact. And once you put a woman in the room, in the environment, guys start thinking differently. And they start thinking about, well, I'll make sure I don't say anything that eliminates the possibility that I could have sex with her.
Well, how about you guys just control yourselves and not let those things come out of your mouths?
We're not meant, because it interferes with the truth. Yes, and that's what everybody's doing. They're making sure they don't say anything that offends women.
And I have a son. I have a 21-year-old son who's in college. And it's just called professionalism, number one, when we're at work and the camera's on, and self-control. Because it's not like women don't think things too. It's just there's a time and place. And in front of, when you were at Fox Sports or FS1, at this point when that's happening, there were still many limitations. You couldn't say most of the things on your mind, even without a woman at the table while you're at FS1, correct?
I don't know if I struggled that much. Because I just found clever ways to say it, or just like, you're not supposed to talk bad about Colin Kaepernick. I talked bad about Colin Kaepernick. I'm talking
specifically about women and this example of, how different it has to be if they're at the table with you.
Look, if I get into the Colin Kaepernick conversation, if there's a woman, particularly the kind of women that most of these networks are putting on, they're going to play some sort of emotional Colin Kaepernick card, or they're going to try to push my buttons.
But so did Max Kellerman, and so did Acho, whatever his name is.
And that's why I didn't want to be on with Max Kellerman.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's not like it's just the emotional women. It's the woke men who are saying things that, they're more sensitive than I was the majority of the time.
Take what's her name? Michelle Beadle.
Oh,
she wasn't on the same show as Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith said something imprecise about
Ray Rice.
And Michelle Beadle went on a show and turned it into something that it really wasn't.
Correct.
And that's what I wanted to avoid, because the women, that's what they have to offer.
No, but she wasn't even there that day. She wasn't on that show. She was watching from home.
I know. And that's what I wanted to. Joy Taylor, in my opinion, capable. I'm a big target. Everybody hates me. And so if you can go on the show and stick it to Jason Whitlock, now you've made Twitter fame. I was the one. Joy Taylor.
I get it. All I'm saying is that everybody has to adjust when the cameras are on. And maybe Joy Taylor is a bad example. Let's say it's me who is going to be your host.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in and be professional and also be prepared. And
so let's keep it real. Here's where it started with me and FS1. I was like, I'm not putting some young eye candy on my show. It's dangerous and blah, blah, blah. And so I said, I'll compromise with you. Bring Bonnie Bernstein in. Let's try Bonnie Bernstein. And I was all for it. And they were all against it. They were complete, like I was nuts.
Why?
Did.
Because she's a journalist?
Because she's a journalist. I'm going to keep it real with you since you asked. I think it was because, hey, I'm not interested in sleeping with Bonnie Bernstein as an executive. And so I don't want you to bring her in. She's past her prime. I could bring in a 26-year-old or a 27-year-old.
Well, we know that happens in every industry. Certainly when we age out.
FS1, I know for a fact, that's what Jamie Horowitz was thinking. And I learned after the fact, that's probably what Charlie Dixon was thinking. And, and so they were completely against Bonnie Bernstein. And I tried to bring in Bonnie Bernstein. I was okay. We brought her in for tryouts. And then when I brought in Bonnie Bernstein, and Bonnie, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just keeping it real. But Bonnie Bernstein, same age as me, she went too far now she's trying to tell me what to do. Now she's trying to dictate what the show was going to be. She wouldn't fall in line. I was creating the opportunity. The industry had clearly said, hey, we're over Bonnie Bernstein. And I was trying to breathe life back into her and bring her back. And as soon as she got there, and I don't remember all the details, but the next thing you know, Bonnie Bernstein is the expert, and she's telling me what I should do, what the show should be about, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so when they objected, I didn't put up much of a fight. I tried. Bonnie didn't. And Bonnie, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I respect Bonnie.
She was one of the GOATs.
Yes.
With what she did for so many years, and she's she's a friend of mine. Yeah. So I can't speak to that, and she's a friend of many people. I can't speak to that. I think the big picture with me is that
her test with me was great.
Well, she's brilliant in many ways.
Because she could keep up. She'd been in it long enough.
She's been there.
Yeah, and she was she'd been there long.
She is a journalist.
Yes.
I think at the end of the day, when we talk about the eye candy stuff. And you listen, I grew up with all boys. I grew up brothers. I grew up in locker rooms throughout my entire career. I probably, many would say, I should be offended by a lot more things than I am. It's very difficult to offend me, really. So I look at the eye candy stuff and let me have the top 10 list of whatever, and I laugh because I'm like, yep, typical guy. And then sometimes I'm like, well, gosh, should I think deeper about that? Where someone as smart as Whitlock and many other people are putting up these lists of the hottest women. And I'm like, is it necessary? Is it clickbait? What was that? Who was on that list? What was that?
I can't.
I mean, you're going to go back through like the Erin Andrews and all the people through the years.
Yeah.
You know? Is it boredom? Is it shock value?
Why did I tweet that out?
Yeah.
Because I like to have fun. It's humorous. It's what guys talk about. I'm still a guy. Every thought of mine, and it should be, but it's not. Every thought of mine should be more pure, but it's just not. And Sage, I got to be on TV in a high-profile position. Look at me. Look at me. And then go compare it to the beauty standards that women are held to, much higher, to get on TV. And so everybody knows that beauty's part of the game. And I could sit here and rattle off the 2 or 3 women that have jobs that didn't have to pass the beauty standard, but I don't want that smoke and I don't want to be disrespectful. But the overwhelming
we'll
majority...
save that for when we're done. Go ahead.
The overwhelming majority of the women that are on sports TV are attractive. Sage, if you look like me, you wouldn't have been on ESPN as a woman.
Listen, I've gotten in trouble for talking about women in locker rooms as well for, I believe, the standard that we should be holding ourselves to. And how you dress matters.
Yes.
And then what happened, I get all the women in the business saying, I'm going to dress how I want. My skirt's this short. It's like, okay, fine. But you know the environment that you're walking into. And I'm never condoning certain behavior and remarks while we're trying to do our jobs because I lived it for many, many years. But I say this to my daughters, what's your goal? What's your goal with what you're putting on? Because we're really smart. We know what we're doing. So I firmly believe, because I think I did it for many years. Now, look, I get to be all comfortable in fuzzy socks and jeans and put my hair up and not care as much. But I think that you don't have to sacrifice being attractive and looking good and caring for professionalism. Like, they can coexist. You can really know what the hell you're talking about and come prepared. I felt I had to be more prepared than any man that I worked next to from the moment I got out of college. In college, because guys in the dorms in IU are like, really, what do you know about sports? And then they do the trivia quizzes to prove that you're dumber than they are. And I would win the trivia contest. So it's always been that way. I get disappointed with what I see a lot right now and have for years. The standards should be higher for ourselves. Forget about you, for ourselves as women. But we're in a different place. This is when I sound like the old man to get off my lawn. And I'm okay with it because I will always contend that those who came before me, the Robin Roberts of the world who were doing it before me when no women were, and certainly no women who looked like her. She was the one person I had to look up to, like, oh, I could do that.
See, now I reject that completely.
Why?
In terms of, because take my sports writing career. It's all based off of a guy named Mike Royko. And he wasn't even a sports writer.
Okay.
He was just a columnist for the Chicago Tribune when I was a kid. Some old Polish white guy. And so this whole deal of like, oh, I got to see someone that looks like me in order to have these aspirations or do any of this, I just reject. My whole career is based off Mike Royko.
No, I agree with you, but this is how I've always said it. I said it on stage at an event the other day in Orlando. Women, number one. And there were so few. I mean, I decided on this career when I was 12 years old in 1984, watching the 84 Olympics, and there were no women. I mean, Phyllis George, what year was that? Gail Gardner called an NFL game in the 80s.
Jane Kennedy and people, they were around.
Yeah, but
1984.
You can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
And it was very few and far between. So it was just in general. And then I already had the dream before I even Robin Roberts was like early 90s at ESPN, right? And on through then. So I agree with you. You don't have to see someone, but in a space like this where it is, I mean, I'm not going on to talk about WNBA at that time because there was no such thing. I want to talk about football. I want to talk about the NBA. So at that point, it was unheard of. And then my experiences in Indianapolis, where my first sports job was, and with the Pacers in that locker room, and the Colts just post, Jeff George, and Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback, your boy Jeff.
Yep.
Like, I was still the only one for years. And so it was a different
The only
standard.
what, though?
Woman. And it was different. Yeah. I'm not a woman, period.
Not race.
This.
Gotcha.
Woman.
Gotcha.
And that alone, there were different rules. The locker rooms changed, the time they're open, the length, because of women. What happened with the woman in New England? Point being, I'm with you, but at the end of the day,
I want you to read.
We had to, at that time, work harder. I don't know that that's the case now. I don't agree at all with that now.